Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Saxon Pub, 1320 South Lamar, South Austin, Texas. This is Enough Rope with Hayes Carll.
How y'all doing?
My name is Kevin Connor. I'm with Sun Radio, solar-powered Americana here in Austin, Texas. And first of all, we want to congratulate the Saxon Pub. They got 3 Austin Music Awards last night, including Best Venue in Austin, Best Venue to Play, the musicians voted for that, and Best Sounding Room. And I mentioned that to Richard, who does the sound here earlier, and he says, oh, they just voted for the room. No, Richard, they voted for you and all the hard work that you put into making this room sound so good over the years. And Hayes got one for Best Album Art.
Yeah, but I didn't do the art, so it was kind of...
But I think this is kind of a precursor to what might happen on Sunday with the big Austin Music Awards at ACL Live.
Well, we'll see. It'd be nice to win awards. I like awards. I don't like awards shows. They make me really uncomfortable.
Just don't go.
Okay. I'm not actually. I got to be out of town.
I think you're going to do very well, though. And I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of my radio station, Sun Radio. We got Best Radio Station for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's
well deserved.
Because we play people like Hayes Carll and our guest tonight, Jack Ingram, who will be here in just a little bit. And but really, to get things started, with Mike Meadows and Jeff Queen backing them up, please welcome the host of our show, Hayes Carll.
I like that gasp of surprise when you mentioned Jack there.
Jack Ingram, really?
Yeah. Well, last month our guest was Ray Wiley Hubbard, and so I will do a song that Ray and I wrote many years ago, and it's tied into the Saxon Pub here in a way, and I've told this story before, but many years ago I stalked Ray Wiley for a long time, and I asked him if he would hang out with me, and he invited me over to his house to write a song. And we sat down, and I said, Ray, what have you been writing about lately? And he said, farm animals, which was a genre I'd never really explored before as a songwriter. Most of my stuff's about alcoholism and sex and depression and drug abuse and travel. But Ray had a lot of luck with the farm animal thing. He's got songs about roosters, rabbits, horses, and snakes. He's got Snake Farm. It just sounds nasty. Snake Farm. Well, it pretty much is. Snake Farm. It's a reptile house. Snake Farm. Ugh. So we sat down, we wrote a song called Chickens. Thank you. It never really took off like we hoped it would. I think we overestimated the whole poultry folk rock movement of early 2004. We were ahead of our time. But I was playing here at the Saxon Pub one night, and after the show, the wonderful bartender came up and said, hey, there's somebody here you should meet. He just tipped you $100, and he bought the entire house 2 rounds of drinks, which was like 6 or 8 drinks. I didn't always sell out the Saxon Pub. And so I went over to him. I said, man, thanks so much for taking care of us. And he said, Hayes, it's my pleasure. My name's Don Tyson. I'm the CEO of Tyson Chicken. I said, man, have I got a song for you? Well, I got chickens in my front yard. What they do is scratch and peck. Yeah, I got chickens in my front yard. What they do is scratch and they peck. Come supper time, I go out there. Gonna find me one to wring its neck. Oh, it ain't meanness, y'all. It's just hungry is what I am. No, it ain't meanness. It's just hungry is what I am. There ain't nothing in this world better than fried chicken, yes, man. If it rains today, oh, the backyard will turn to mud. Oh, if it rains today, oh, the backyard will turn to mud. If it don't, it won't. Either way, it won't rile my blood. Yeah. Sitting on the porch swing, or watching the sky in Woodland Wood. Yes, I'm sitting on the porch swing, just watching the sky in Woodland Wood. There's an old crow dancing on a clothesline, counting his toes and feeling good. One time, chickens in my front yard. Oh, what to do? Scratch and they peck. I got chickens in my front yard. What they do? Scratch and they peck. Come supper time, I go out there. Gonna find me one to wring its neck. Oh, it ain't meanness, y'all. It's just hungry, that's what I am. Right.
You know, I'm surprised that old Don Tyson didn't snatch that up and make that a jingle for a commercial.
Yeah, well, it would have. A boy can dream.
Hungry is what I am. He actually was here another night. We were doing a radio show from the Saxon Pub, and he was right down in the front with Jerry Jones from the Dallas Cowboys,
yeah.
Their old Arkansas buddies.
That's a man who could buy some drinks.
Yeah. They didn't that night, but...
Were they cheap? Tell me they were cheap. Tell me the owner of the Dallas Cowboys is a cheapskate.
He didn't even pay for his own beer.
Oh.
He just thought being Jerry... No, I don't know.
I think it's time to become a Houston Texans fan. That's the only real alternative there is.
A house divided.
You think it's bad right now? I'm sure, like on Facebook right now, it's exploding that Hayes is dead to me.
Tony Romo, a Texan. Anybody for that?
Yeah. I am.
I mean, you got to eat, right?
There you go. Well, I'll, speaking of making money, I'll do a song here that I wrote right after the second coolest job I ever had, which was working for the U.S. Census Bureau in 2000, for the 2000 census. I was in charge of counting homeless people in an area where there wasn't really any homeless people. and it was a government gig, so I got well compensated. And I saved up my money, and I went over to Croatia for 6 months. And at the time, I just hung out. I had a buddy who was Croatian, and I stayed with him. And the problem was that most of the people didn't speak English, and half the country was unemployed, which was all right with me because I had people to hang out with. That's what I did. I just kicked around for a long time, and I joined a handball. I didn't join a team. I went and hung out while these guys trained. There was a team, a sport called handball. It's kind of like basketball and soccer, rugby hybrid thing. And I used to go hang out while they would train just to get out of the house and get a little exercise. And I would, remember the first practice, we went to shower in the gym, and it was this like high school locker room gym situation, and but Eastern European, so like think of a high school locker room and then take it down a couple levels. And that's what it was. And I went in and I got undressed, and I went over towards the shower, and I looked up. I had my towel on, and I looked up, and there was the entire handball team was standing there blocking my entrance to the shower. And it was like these 15 swarthy Eastern European guys. And I thought, oh, there's a lot of things that could be about to happen right now, and none of them are good. And then the first one who spoke the best English stepped up, and he said, okay, let's see. Is everything bigger in Texas?
How'd you do?
I started playing tennis. And it was Anyway, that doesn't really have anything to do with this song, other than I wrote the song a few months later, not thinking about the Croatian handball team. Time has come, there is no second chance. We've been drifting on an empty aching sea. You were the girl I never knew I wanted. I was a boy you hoped you'd never see. It's a shame we ain't lovers. It could have been something so big and grand, just kissing for hours underneath that sweet magnolia. I'm begging for answers, trying to make you stay. I've been burning up the hours, talking to the midnight, just dreaming ways I could hold you next to me. And maybe it just wasn't meant. All things have a reason. Or maybe our hearts are just too careless and free. It's a shame we ain't lovers. There could have been something so big and grand, just kissing for hours underneath that sweet magnolia. I'm begging for answers, trying to make you stay. There was a time you would have had me. There was a time when I could have had you. But it's too late, now the path has come and gone again. I'm at the back door with a broken window view. It's a shame we ain't lovers. There could have been something so big and grand, just kissing for hours underneath that sweet magnolia. begging for answers and trying to make a stay. I'm tired of writing, but I can't put down my pen. It's too late now to talk or turn back. So just hold on, 'cause baby, here we go again. Heading the wrong way down that one-way track. It's a shame we ain't lovers. There could have been something so big and grand. Just kissing for hours underneath that sweet magnolia. I'm begging for answers and trying to make a stay. I hope y'all were able to enjoy that without thinking too much about the story that led up to it. Well, let's do, today is Towns Van Zant's birthday, and I'd love to play a town song tonight, and I think we'll maybe do it in the second half of the show. But right now, let's do that song we did last week with Bruce, the Guy Clark tune. We had a cool thing this week. We got to go out to Bruce Robison's studio, about 30 miles out of town. I don't know where. That's all I can tell you. It's top secret. It's not that I don't know where it is. It's not that I got lost and it took me 45 minutes longer than I intended. But he's got a great analog studio out there, rolling the tape and recording the tape, and we went out and did a Guy Clark Guy Clark song for a tribute that I think it's the Texas Music Museum is doing some kind of thing for Guy, and so we recorded that, and then we also recorded a Travis Tritt song. Just for kicks, it was for me. It was like a kid in a candy store, because he said, "Do you know we when we do these recording sessions, we just try and get people to record something that maybe people wouldn't know they are a fan of, and like, do you have any kind of old country stuff that you like?" And I said, I've got some old country stuff I like, but really my sweet spot was like 89 to 93, and I could play that all day long, and so we did. You say you were wrong to ever leave me alone, and now you're sorry, you're lonesome and scared, and you say you'd be happy if you could just come back home. But here's a quarter, call someone who cares. Call someone who listens and might give a damn. Every one of your sordid affairs. But don't you come around here handing me none of your lines. Here's a quarter, call someone who cares. That was not the plan, but it's just a taste. And went from Guy Clark to that. But that's poetry, though. That's cowboy poetry right there. But we'll do this tune. This is the first night I ever met Guy was I ended up at a party with him afterwards, and he had just done this record called The Dark, and we sat around. It was me and J.T. Van Zandt and Kimmy Rhodes and Joe Gracie and Verlin Thompson, and it was just a bunch of great musicians and folks, and Guy played the entire record for us on an acoustic guitar with Verlin, and we just sat there in awe, or I was. I think everybody was, and so that was the first time I heard this song, and we'll try it for you now. Y'all help me out on the. You don't have a mic, do you? I can't see. He could be doing anything back there. And I have a lot of faith that Jeff's behaving himself behind me. This is Jeff Queen on the pedal steel and the electric guitar. And, of course, Mike Meadows on the percussion over here. All right, there's some high notes in this one, but we'll try it out. I'd rather sleep in a box like a bum on the street than a fine feather bed without your little old cold feet. And I'd rather be deaf, all dumb and stone blind, than to know that your mornings would never be mine. And I'd rather die young than to live without you. I'd rather go hungry than to eat lonesome stew. And it's once in a lifetime, and it won't come again. It's just here and it's gone on a magnolia wind. And I'd rather not walk through the garden again if I can't catch your scent on a magnolia wind. So if it ever comes time, if it comes time to go, it says pack up your fiddle, it says pack up your bow. 'Cause if I can't dance with you, then I won't dance at all. I'll just sit this one out with my back to the wall. And I'd rather not hear pretty music again if I can't catch your fiddle on a magnolia Guy Clark and Sean Camp tuning there. All right, thank you, everybody. Well, listen, this is our third episode, and I appreciate everybody coming out and supporting the show. And my favorite thing about this is that I get to talk to people that I admire musically and have conversations about their craft, their art, their careers, and their lives. And tonight, it's a special one for me because it's one of the first people that in 1997, I was in Conway, Arkansas at a school with a dream of being a singer-songwriter in a dry county with no gigs. And that dream felt very, very far away. And I turned on the TV one night on PBS, and Austin City Limits was on, and Jack Ingram was playing music on that historic television show. And I thought, I grew up in the same town as that guy. And I think he's doing it. I didn't know anybody that was pulling that off, and he was doing it, and he was making great music. And then when I started doing this, he was one of the first people to sort of support me and mentor me, and he gave me his time and was very kind and generous to me, and I owe him a lot, and I'm a huge fan. So please welcome to Enough Rope stage, Mr. Jack Ingram, everybody. Welcome.
Hey, buddy, this is great.
Well, thanks, man.
This is great.
Thanks for stopping by and doing this with us.
Forgot I was getting on. I was like, well, this is cool, man.
It's better than forgetting you were getting off.
Yeah, that's hard to forget. That's what she said. I hope did that 3 times a day.
Hey, while Jack is getting set up, can I congratulate another organization that won an Austin Music Award last night? It's where Jack made his most recent record, Midnight Motel. It's just down the street, Arlen Studios.
Yeah.
A wonderful place. Lisa Fletcher and Freddie Fletcher and their crew. And it's a beautiful record. It's really kind of designed for listening late at night, but I like playing it early in the morning. It's a good record.
That must mean you go to bed late or early.
Yeah, I get up at the crack of ridiculous.
Thank you for saying that, man. That was the best music making experience I had probably in my career, and Arlen was a big part of that. I'm actually going over there in a couple weeks. I'm going to do like a live recording, just a bunch of songs that make me feel good, and invite some friends and stuff. So it's kind of become my little home away from home.
That showed in the record, and I've followed your career, and I've heard everything you've ever done. And when I listened to this record, it was the most natural and relaxed. It's an incredibly unique record because it's like in a way a concept record, but it's not even that. It just feels like I'm in the room with you. Because
that was the concept.
Yeah, I remember you called me and asked me to come over and then I tried to, and then y'all had left. But
that's a recurring theme between Hayes and I.
But it was there's just this vibe, this relaxed feeling to it, and it's this combination of you don't give a shit, but in the best possible way.
It was the best possible time I could not give a shit.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that, but you feel like you're in the room, and you're telling stories, and these songs are coming alive, and you know there's the chatter and the talk, and some people do it on one song, they let it run, and people laugh about the song and whatever, but I felt like I was in the room recording the record with you and getting a concert at the same time. It's a remarkable record. For those of y'all that don't have it, I think it's Jack's best work. And
thanks, man. Thank you, Hayes.
It's really great. How did you end up there?
It was that record, that concept of the record and of the songs on it. It was all part of the same thought process of just like after you're on not the good kind of. I mean, it was a first-class carnival ride, but it was the kind that like if you stay on too long, you start feeling really sick, and then you actually throw up.
And you mean like
having hits on the radio and being on a label where I just wasn't sure. Like the guy was really excited about, man, we're making a real sound here, and I was like, I don't know any of the guys I'm playing with, and yes, this is a sound, but it's not my sound. And once that's out on the radio, then for every 3 minutes of your life that you release, it kind of needs to be coherent to the last thing you did. And so it's really hard to get out. I didn't realize that. You know, I have the vision of hindsight now, but once you have a hit song on the radio, it's like, that's Ingram. That's what he sounds like. And I was like, well, that's cool. But that's not really what I do. I mean, it's what I want to be doing to have hits, but I wanted to have hits so I could show you guys who I really am. And that's not how it works.
You could do more of
yeah. And that's why I could be a dancing monkey, you know. And
because you had a lot of success.
Absolutely. It was great. I mean, I can make the decisions now about my career because of the success I had. And I don't take anything away from what I did. It's just now I know what people were telling me when they said, hey, man, when you get your shot, make sure you know exactly who you are and fight for it. And I knew who I was. It's just it happened so fast. I go, oh, well, that's pretty close to me. It's cool. And it was cool for 7 years.
Yeah.
And a lot of top 20 hits and some number one. I'm big time.
But you've been telling me that long before you had number one hits.
Well, that's.
I've always been impressed by your confidence.
That was the Jedi mind trick on you. I'm gonna tell him what I think about his record, so he thinks I have a right to say it. You know, man, you were talking about that about me supporting you, and it's funny because music for me, like I've always been a people pleaser. Like I wanted my parents to stay married, and so I was trying to make them happy, and I learned how to do that really well. And music is the only part of my life that I really do have strict boundaries about. Like, hey man, if I love something, I'm gonna let them know, and if I don't, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut about it. And you were at that time I had a record deal. I was putting out it was a major label, and and people were giving me records all the time. And when I got yours, I didn't know anything about you. I didn't know that you almost got laid in my house when you were 17. But
that's for another episode.
I think we'd all like to hear about that now, wouldn't we?
It's pretty funny.
All in favor say aye. Opposed?
My mom's going, nay.
He was saying.
He was a house sitter, and my mother was going out of town. And he did what house sitters do when they go out of town.
Almost.
Almost. Yeah, all I can say about the end of the story is I still don't know if Hayes has ever been laid except for Eli.
You should clear that up because I have a child, not yet.
Not my boy Eli. All that was a part of me telling how great I think Hayes is and was from the start. I got his record, Flowers and Liquor. And it really was the first guy my age that I know I love a record when I listen to it and I turn it off halfway through because I got to write a song because I get jealous and competitive. And in order to feel better, I got to write a song. And I did that during his record. And I was like, I got to find out about this guy. So he can say that I was a mentor and that I took my time, but I was stalking him. I stalked great talent, and that's why I started hanging out with Hayes.
Thank you, sir.
That's the truth.
It meant a lot to me. And it came at a time where I needed somebody to tell me that they thought I had something, and you were that guy, and I really appreciate it.
Me. Then the second record he made, I was coming down to play a gig in Houston, and he called me at my house. This is back when we answered the phone at our house, and he said, "When are you going to come through the Woodlands?" And I told him. He goes, "I want to give you the roughs of my new CD, my new record." And as he's handing it to me, he goes, "I mean, I'm probably going to shit can the whole thing because it's not any good." And I was like, "Okay, well, wow, it must suck." So I took it and listened to it. And I just was laughing the whole time, going, "He thinks this sucks. Maybe I should tell him it does, so he doesn't put it out." Anyway.
Well, how do you feel about playing a song for us, Jack?
Then there was that time that this is what the Midnight Motel record was a concept in the way we made it, because I just wanted to be in a room with people that I trusted and loved and that I knew. There's a thing that happens in sessions up in Nashville, which is fine. Those guys are, how great the guys are on the PGA Tour. Like, they can hit golf balls that go backwards. They're so good, like it's crazy. That's how the studio musicians are in Nashville. They're amazing musicians. You wouldn't believe it if you saw it. But when you're on a label and you're making those kinds of hit records, I got this feeling that when I was in the studio that every time I opened my mouth, I could see the rhythm section going. Great, the artist is talking again. And I just got sick of it. I was like, man, these are great records. They sound like hit records, but the only records that got me making this music was hit records that were great. And I'd rather err on the side of trying to be great than trying to be a hit record maker. And thank you. Sometimes I think the only reason I really wanted to have hits so that I could spend Thanksgivings and Christmas and Easter and not have to answer if I'm still doing that music thing. So it was a concept of getting in the studio with friends of mine, and also it was the concept of getting in the studio and kind of explaining to myself and anybody else that, like, marriage is a bitch, and then it gets harder. But this is the last song on the record, and it kind of sums up what the record's about. It's kind of like, hey man, we're just really impatient, I think. We just want to know things are going to be okay. That's why we have anxiety, and people don't really like waiting. We all want to find out how it ends, but we all know if we could do it all over, well, we'd all wait a lifetime and do it all over again. It all starts out smiling and happy. We light up this world just like a song. We find lines and women and worry and children and choices along the way. Change who we are. Everyone says you can't go back. We all smile and say live and learn, but we all know if we knew then what we know now, we just flip 'em the bird, make the same wrong turn. It's funny how dying is just living. We all do it one day at a time. Smiles and sin, frowns and grins, they can get so confusing. Should we laugh? Should we cry? Sadness can just be a reflection. Carnival mirrors that lie. Glass is half empty, or it's half full, depending on truth, or maybe sunlight distorting the lines. Everyone says you can't go back. We all smile and say live and learn, but we all know if we knew then what we know now, we'd just give them a wink, make the same damn turn. Story. One time, a man loved a woman. To death do his part, man, they tried. But I love you, I do. Somehow it turns into I hate you and will, to the day that I die. But in the end, we all always say sorry. In the end, we all always blame pride. In the end, there's a flash. There's no good, there's no bad. In the end, it's all before you. No wrong, no right. Everyone says you can't go back. all smile and say live and learn, when we all know if we knew then what we know now, we just give a big smile and lean into the turn. So if people don't really like waiting, and why do we all wait until the end to say I love you? And baby, I always knew if I could do it all over, I'd do it all over again. Thank you. Thank you. I rewrote that a couple times. The first couple times the guy died and my manager was all upset. Thought I needed more therapy. I'm taking it out of his commission.
One thing I've always admired about your writing is that it is like therapy. It seems like for you, I watch you and I go, God, he's just putting it all out there. And there's no sort of cover. There's no, distraction or smart. I like to, I like to write about emotions, but a lot of times I'll cloak it in something else and make it. Well, that's not really me. That's just a story I'm telling.
That's what somebody. I love. I mean, that is funny that you say that.
But
you have characters.
You've always been so direct as a writer, and it's like, wow, he just had a fight with his wife, and he's coming to tell me about it. And
that's right. And chances are that's pretty, yeah.
Sorry, Amy. I mean, I know it's there. You have other songs, but like you work through the human experience.
No, I tell people I write love songs and hate songs, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, which is real. I mean, that is for most people a relationship. It's not all good, and hopefully it's not all bad either. But what got you into writing, and what affected your style? Like, how did that become sort of? You end up going straight to the meat of it. And
I think it's because I grew up driving around Houston. My dad was in real estate, and he loved music. Like before Bonnie Raitt was Bonnie Raitt, he had those records and 8 tracks and things like that. And he was a big fan of Willie Nelson. And like I met Willie Nelson at KPFT when I was 5 years old.
Wow.
My dad went down there and he took me with him, and I was a huge fan. And my dad would always talk about how you could tell what was going on in Willie's life by his records.
Yeah.
That he wrote these songs that mirrored what was happening. And I always took that with me. And when I started to write songs, I was trying to make up characters and make up stories, and my songs were just awful. And I was going, what do I got to do? And as I was reading about my heroes and then remembering about Willie, they all said, you got to write what you know. And so I was like, maybe there's something to that.
Yeah.
And I really hated my dad at that point. Like the only thing I knew for sure was I thought he was an asshole. So that's when I wrote Biloxi.
Yeah.
And it's about my
song.
dad. It's the first real honest song I ever wrote that actually had something that made me lose it when I was writing the song. And that became like getting that moment where you give yourself the chills somehow because you reach a truth.
Yeah.
That's almost better than drugs.
Almost. Huh? It's a powerful thing. I think that's why we get into music is when other artists do that for you. You hear it as a listener and you go, that guy's speaking something that I know is real and that I can relate to and connect to. And there are songwriters who can piece that together and make it come out of nowhere, and it's not their story, but a lot of the greats, most of the greats, I think, do that through personal experience and craft, and it connects. And for me as a writer, I thought, I want to do that. If not, even if nobody else hears it, I mean, we all think we have something to say as teenagers and many of us as adults. But we all think we have something to say, but there's not really an outlet for that. I mean, everybody finds their own way to do that in life. But that's why songwriting attracted me, was going, wow, I would like to be able to say something that affects somebody else the way that affected me, or just that's got to feel good to be able to say exactly how you want and what you want and make it rhyme. And people occasionally dance to it.
Just now getting to where I can, where if it doesn't, it used to be if it didn't come natural, it wasn't a good song. The rhymes came because the language was there, because it was almost like,
yeah,
it was just coming lightning bolt. That's how I know I've been working on it for this long, because now I can have a good idea that I can piece back together and it still hits.
You got to apply the craft. It doesn't necessarily.
But it's funny you talk about the style thing, because grass is always greener, because I've always loved it that you can have such heartfelt songs when I know these are characters you're building, and you say hiding behind, but you're making them into these 3D people right there in a song, and that's just as much of a craft and inspiration as anything else. Like, I don't do that very well because I haven't been doing it for 20 years, which you have.
Well, we all have our different ways of approaching it. On the last record that I made,
yeah,
you and I wrote a song, and that whole record for me, it was sort of letting all that down and just being more straightforward about it. And interestingly, you and I wrote a song that was sort of the lead single and sort of the clearest explanation of that and an example of that. And that was cool for me, not to just get a song and one that I liked and felt was real, but to write it with you, because that was the thing that I always thought you were really good at.
That's a trip, man.
Turned out
we were sitting in the motel room in Nashville, and we hook up for an afternoon. And we were sitting there writing the song, and I was going to myself, I was like, oh, he must have given up. Like, it was really cool to know that, hey, like, I could tell that was the record you wanted to make, or that's what the track you were on. I was like, oh, we're not trying to have any kind of pitch in the language or switch and bait and switch kind of deals. Like, I loved it, and I love the whole record because you did that.
Yeah, well, thanks. But as I did it, I realized, not trying not to be coy and just straightforward and direct. It's a scary place to be.
Yeah.
And you as a performer and as a writer, I've been on tour with you, and I watched you every night. My show, as many of y'all know, I'm sitting down now, but there's not a huge difference if I was standing up. I would be, like, my right foot sometimes gets excited, but that's about it. And I would open for Jack, and I would go out in front of these crowds, and I'd be like, I'd try and tell a joke, and then just, do my 6-minute ballad. And he would come out, and if he was, standing up right now, he'd be standing on this monitor, getting y'all all to shout along with him, and it just had this energy and this confidence, and it blew me away. I was like, how does anyone capable of that? And it didn't matter if there was 10,000 people or 10 people. You approached it the same every night, which was it's easy to get jacked up when you've got a rowdy crowd of a bunch of people, but you brought it every night, no matter what it was like, and it was like you willed them to come to you, which was me. I would be like, oh, this isn't my crowd, I'm checking out, and I'll just look at the clock, and you took it as a challenge. It seemed like, and you said, I'm going to convince y'all, and I'm going to leave here every night, having converted y'all to at least have listened to me and given me a chance, and I've done my best. And if you walk away saying you don't like it, well, that sucks for you. But I'm awesome, and you're going to see it at the end of the night. I was always impressed by that.
That's exactly the reason why, man. I just, if you ask a girl out on a date, and she says maybe,
I go home.
I want to answer, man. Like, I'll just keep on going. Are we going or are we not going? Like, it's cool if we're not going, but you got to say no for me to leave. And that's kind of the way I am with crowds. Like, man, I got 90 minutes to. My whole existence relies on 90 minutes, man, or 2 hours if I'm lucky. And if I don't do that right, if I don't put everything I got into that, then I've wasted a whole day, man. And I'm in Neenah, Wisconsin, for God's sake. I'm not going to.
I played Oneida, Wisconsin.
Right.
I won $1,100 at the blackjack table.
At the Oneida Casino.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, that's why I do it. It's not because I think I'm great, which I do. I'm kidding. It's because I'm just so scared to death that what I'm doing is not real. And if I don't get you to react, then it's not real. And so I was like, I have to make this happen.
Well, you going to play another song for us?
Yeah, man, let's see. By the way, that Magnolia Wind is one of my favorite Guy Clark songs.
Beautiful tune.
Isn't it? It's one of the, yes, Guy Clark. We miss him dearly. And Sean Camp's going to die soon, too, so we miss him, too. I'm kidding, man. I'm joking.
We're all going to die.
That's one of like a. I think every time Sean and Guy wrote songs, they wrote about Sissy Draper, and that's that song's about her too, right?
Soldier's Joy and
all of it's like this ongoing thing. So after in 2010, I got off the road for a little bit, and like I said, my experience in the mainstream of the music world. I hope it's not over, but it's definitely. It can be very complex if you give a shit, and I do. So I went home and I kind of had a 2-year talking to with myself, and a lot of what my dad used to tell me came out, and a lot of what I would tell my kids came out, and this is kind of what it is. Don't try to sell what you wouldn't buy, 'cause you'll go to hell for telling a lie. Don't write a song that you wouldn't sing. Only thing wrong is everything. Don't start a fight think you can't win. A hook left or right still hit your chin. Don't light a match, you think it won't burn. Hey buddy, fires just catch. When will you learn? Don't jump in the sea. You don't want to swim. The tide takes you out. It don't bring you in. You don't fall in love. You don't have a heart that you're willing to break right from the start. I know for sure, but there's this: if it ain't broke, there's nothing to fix. Thank you.
Well, we could easily trade stories for several hours, and as you alluded to, there's some that might be more interesting than others. But tell everybody real quick. You've got a really cool event that I've been a part of for a couple years, called Jack and Matthew.
Mac, Jack, and McConaughey. I'm glad you said Matthew, though.
They changed it for Matthew? Okay.
It's every year, just depending on what he's won. It's either Matthew or McConaughey. Just,
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's Mac Brown, the former coach of the University of Texas Longhorns, football coach, and Matthew McConaughey, and yourself.
I'm the J in that equation. MJ and M is how.
MJ and M, that's
MJ
right.
and M. And it's a really fantastic. So about when I was actually one of the reasons I wanted to be a songwriter is because in 1983 I was 13 and my dad went to this. He played in this golf tournament. We grew up north of Houston in the Woodlands.
A golfing community. They had golf cart
And
crossings.
and pretty tough community as well.
It was when we.
I have to write about heartbreak because it's like, what's a private school kid gonna write about? Like
That's what I told my mom I wanted to be a country singer. She said, you can't.
I know.
She said, what are you going to sing about, how they're out of towels at the country club? I said, come on, Mom.
Sometimes they were, man. That sucked.
Yeah, it was rough.
Got beat up with a 9-iron.
It hurts, man. It hurts.
I tell you what, it hurts a lot. You remember it.
Killed a snake with a 9-iron.
Where were we?
So anyway, they had a thing. It was fine by me because Willie Nelson hung out in the Woodlands at this thing called the Darryl and Willie, which was a golf tournament that they had. Whereas Darryl Royal and Willie Nelson, and then they moved to Austin later on, had the Ben, Willie, and Darryl, which is Ben Crenshaw came along. And but from my side of the story, in 1983, my dad told me he was playing this deal, and he knew I was into music. They have videotapes of me in front. My dad was trying to film his golf swing, and I would jump in front of the camera and start singing, "This is the last cowboy song, the end of a 100-year waltz." And I'm gonna be a country singer, Dad. And I've never shown that to anybody. I've never told that to anybody. So now I feel kind of weird.
It's like Oprah. We're breaking.
I just had a light bulb moment. But anyway, there you go. He invited me to come out. They had a concert after the golf tournament that they held, Ben and Darryl, or Willie and Darryl. And I went to go see that concert. It was on a bunch of tennis courts, indoor tennis courts. And I saw this dude who got up and he played The Gambler, which was huge at the time. And I liked that song, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. Like it didn't make me cry. Like I guess it made 999 million other people cry. That kind of says a lot about my career. But I heard this guy singing who can't really sing that well, and he played it really differently, and it made me cry. And I was like, oh my God, that's a whole different song. And then Freddie Powers got up and sang these Merle Haggard songs, and I was like, why is he playing Merle Haggard songs? And my dad was like, no, dude, dumbass, that guy wrote that song. He lived it. Merle Haggard sings it. And I was like, oh, is that how that works? And it changed my life. Like, that's why now I love being a country star, but I'd rather be a songwriter than anything else. Because, you know, like, that's why my hero is Willie Nelson, really. And so, anyway, fast forward 20 years. I called up or texted Mac Brown. He was still coaching, so it was like 1:30 in the morning, and I was hammered. And I thought, I want to do a golf tournament just like Ben did, like Willie and Darryl did. And so I just texted Mac and said, hey, man, I know I'm not Willie Nelson, and I don't know what you think, but you're no Darryl Royal. I didn't say that. This is they're filming this. Oh, shit.
He's watching right now.
You're not going to believe. I said, hey, man, do you want to do a tournament and bring back the spirit of what that was? And he had gone to those tournaments. And so he texted me back at like 1:32 in the morning and said, sure. And I thought, because before I sent it, I thought this is either the end of a friendship or he's really going to know we're really good friends now. And kind of like kissing a girl before you really think you should. And so he kissed me back, and then he called Matthew, and that was a hell of a threesome. And we just started this thing, and it's called the Mac, Jack, and McConaughey. And this is our 5th year, and we've already raised over $5 million for 5 different children's charities. We're really proud of it. I've never been a Bible guy, so to speak, or per se. But I do remember all the sayings that everybody always kind of talks about, and how they said, if you give stuff away, you get back tenfold, 10 times. That's a lie, because you get back infinite amounts of stuff from giving love away. You get all your love back you need. It's been pretty amazing. So thanks for asking about it. It's April 20th and 21st, and if you can spell McConaughey, you get a prize. In that you can go to macjackmcconaughey.org and give some money and be a part of it. It's cool. We empower children with our money. So
it's a really, really cool event. They got 2 nights at the Moody Theater, and one night, the huge stars, and then the second night they have
us.
And, yeah. But it's really great event, and I ended up doing the golf tournament portion of it, and got paired with McConaughey, Lance Armstrong, and McConaughey's brother,
Patrick.
Rooster?
Rooster.
Yeah.
Oh, Rooster was
by far the most interesting one of the. He was.
Rooster's kid's name is Light, or Light Beer.
No, they're Miller. They're Miller and Bud or something like that. Yeah.
His name's Drink a Lot.
He named his kid Miller Lite.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the fun guy to golf with. Anyway. Well, you up for one more tune for us, Jack?
Yeah, man. Of course.
Right. Everybody, how about a hand for Jack coming in here tonight?
This is great, man. Congratulations on this.
Oh, thank you.
This is really cool.
I'm holding our breath, but so far so good.
This is not on the radio, though, right?
No.
We're on Facebook.
It's bigger than the radio, Jack.
That's what I meant. I don't do small-time shit, man. I just was saying that because this next song has the word fuck in it. I wanted to make sure that we weren't going to lose our license. Sometimes you realize there ain't a damn thing you can do. I've tried everything, but there just ain't no pleasing you. You've gone round after round, now you're shutting us down. Go ahead and break us in two. Walk out the door and believe that I'm broken and blue. Yeah, you fix me, you fuck me, you hate me, you love me, drive me right out of my mind. I could bitch, I could cry, I could lay down and die, but that ain't gonna happen tonight. There's nothing to it. I'm drinking through it. I'm drinking through it. Sometimes you're thirsty, but sometimes you just need a drink. Sometimes a heartache don't hit you as hard as you think. Sometimes it feels good to drown. Order me up one more round. I'll dive deep in your memory tonight, but I ain't gonna sing. Yeah, you fixed me, you fucked me, you hate me, you love me, drive me right out of my mind. I could bitch, I could cry, I could lay down and die, but that ain't gonna happen tonight. There's nothing to it. I'm drinking through it. Can't go over it, can't go under it. So you drink right through. Can't go over it, can't go around it. So you drink right through. Yeah, that's how we do it. There's nothing to it. That's how we do it. We're drinking through. fix me, you fuck us, you hate us, you love us, you drive us out of our mind. We could bitch, we could cry, we lay down and die. Y'all want to sing that? It's your chance to cuss on the internet in a positive way. Yeah, you fixed us. You know the words, man. Come on. I know you know. You're like, no, I can't. Yeah, you fixed us. Okay, I'm sorry, but you know, like when you really are kind of like, hey, man, what the? So say it that way. Like, yeah, you fixed us. You hate us. You love us. You drive us right out of our mind. We could bitch, we could cry, we lay down and die, but that ain't gonna happen, not tonight. There's nothing to it. Yeah, that's how we do it. Yeah, there's nothing to it. We're drinking through it. We're in an Irish pub through it. You have to sing along, drinking through it. Yeah, we're drinking through it. There you go.
Jack Ingram, everybody. Jack,
Thank
thanks so
you.
much for coming on to the show. We appreciate it, brother.
Hayes Carll's my favorite. He's a brother. It's fun to have a friend that when I'm feeling lonely or whatever, I turn on your records, man. I've said it to you. You want me to get that? I always tell him when we text each other, I always say unsolicited advice alert or whatever. Like, I'm about to tell you shit that friends don't usually talk about. But I just love the dude. I love what you do. I love how you write. I just love you.
Thank you, brother.
I know one of his co-writers on that song is Laurie McKenna, and I think the fuck part probably came from Jack more than Laurie. Bring him back. Bring him back. Hello. Here, take this one.
The best part about that song was doing the work tape. After you've done writing, you do a work tape, and we've been drinking all night, and it was me, Liz, and Liz Rose, who's a Texan and co-wrote Taylor Swift's first 2 records. I mean, whatever. Yeah. But the best part, they're both really sweet, and so I made them both sing a version of the work tape because I knew that'd be the only time I get to hear them say fuck like 20 times. And that's the sexiest thing in the world to me. So. What I was saying is that Liz Rose and Laurie McKenna are mothers, and they cuss like fucking sailors.
Oh my God, Jack! People from Boston don't swear. Except in The Departed.
Jack Ingram, everybody.
Hey, I was going to ask you, you're going up to New Mexico with
Yeah, I've got some gigs coming up. This weekend I'm playing in Santa Fe, New Mexico with Bob Schneider and Eliza Gilkison. And then that's on Friday. And then on Saturday I'm doing a gig with just Bob Schneider in Lubbock, Texas. And then take a little bit of time off and I think do some Colorado dates. And then I'm getting together with the Band of Heathens, Austin's own Band of Heathens. And we are going to go out and tour together, something we did a couple years ago where they do their show and then are kind enough to be my band for my show. And so it's a lot of fun to get to play with those guys. So we'll do about a week and a half with them, Nashville, Dallas, Tulsa, Atlanta, St. Louis, Kansas City, and maybe one more, Little Rock. And so that's it. So if you, that'll be in April. So if anybody's interested in that, check it out. All the info should be on hayescarll.com. And while we're talking about great musicians, one more time, everybody, for Jeff Queen on the pedal steel and the electric guitar. And Mr. Mike Meadows on the percussion and the drums. Before I came over here, I did a couple songs at a concert, a tribute concert to John Ailey for 50 years on the radio, and this is sort of a song we're at the end of the line. I hope he's got a lot of time left, but we'll send this out to him. After all these years of running round, flying high and falling down, well, the time has come at last to rest my heart and ease my past. I'm gonna leave these blues behind for some other fool to find. He won't care, I don't mind. Hide me, babe, hide me, babe. Darling, don't you cry tonight. The moon is full and the world is right. I've loved more than my share. I took the pain and I called it fair. I'm gonna lay down all my fears, my highway shoes and my rambling tears. They can shout it down the line. I can't lose what was not mine. I'll raise my glass and I'll make a toast. They're harder than some, little better than most. Left a mark on every town. They had a dream and we stood our ground. But I can't do those things no more. Not the way I done before. The same winds that brought me through can take me back the same way too. After all these years of running round, of flying high and falling down, well, the time has come at last to rest my heart and ease my past. I'm gonna leave these blues behind for some other fool to find. He won't care, I don't mind. Hide me, babe, hide me, babe. Thanks, everybody. All right. Let's do a Tom Waits song for you. Oh, yeah, when I'm lying in my bed at night, I don't want to grow up. Yeah, nothing ever seems to turn out right, and I don't want to grow up. How do you move in a world of fog? It's always changing things. It makes me wish that I could be a dog. Well, when I see the price you pay, I don't want to grow up, and I don't ever want to be. They never want. The only thing to live for is to take. I'm gonna put Boy Scout. I don't want to have to learn to count. I don't want to have the biggest amount. I don't want to go. My parents fight, I don't want to grow up. Yeah, they all go out a drinking all night, and I don't want to grow up. I'd rather stay here in my room, nothing out there but sad and gloom. I don't want to live in a big old tomb on Crash Street. Now when I see the 5 o'clock news, I don't want to grow up. Yeah, they comb my hair in the shiny shoes, and I don't want to grow up. I'd rather stick around the old hometown. I don't want to put no money down. I don't want to get me a big old loan, work them fingers to the bone. I don't want to learn to blow the broom, fall in love, get married, and boom. How the hell I get here so soon? I don't want to grow up. Tom Waits, y'all. All right. Thanks, y'all. Well, we'll do another song here. It's in the same key. Some of y'all may know I'm doing this new thing called there's a website called Patreon, where it's for sustained, ongoing patronage for artists, and it's. The way it works is y'all give me money. I'm trying to find a better way to like. That's the heart of it. But what it is you sign up to a pledge. It can be $1, it can be $100, it can be whatever you want. And every time, and then I use that money to go and make and write. Well, not to write, but to record songs that I've written. And I release them every month. So like my last record came out. There was 5 years in between my last 2 records. And that's a really long time, and this enables me to go out and record a song every month. So with the help of the patrons, we do that. And so then I record it and we release it. And as soon as this show is over, we're going to release this month's recording to the patrons. And if you're interested, I think it'll be up for a month, so you can go sign up and you'll get that song. And so this is a tune that I wrote with Allison Moore and Adam Landry. And it was very cool for me. Last month, John Leventhal produced the track that we did. And this month, I got to work with my good friend and a really incredible producer and songwriter and singer, John Evans. He lives here in Austin and is right there, actually.
That's the man, Daddy.
That is the man. We don't have the pan camera, but maybe I'll bring you up here after this tune and we can sing something. I'm going to do the original version because the band hasn't heard the version that you and I came up with, and so we'll have this, and then I think we're going to play the track at the end of the show, and then, like I said, if you want to get it, you can go on Patreon, and y'all be the only people that have it. And, it's called Be There. You look like a tragedy that just hasn't happened yet. I've been on a losing streak, and I'm trying to forget. You act like we were meant to be. like country songs in Tennessee. Baby, I need to believe, 'cause I want you so bad. 'Cause you say you will, but I know you won't. Yeah, I know you won't. I know you won't. Be there. You got leaving in your eyes, and I don't wanna see it. It'll turn your promise into lies, no matter how you try to keep it. And now I'm standing at the edge of town, the bell heavy as the sun goes down. So tired of going round and round, I wanna take you at your word. 'Cause you say you will, but I know you won't. Yeah, I know you won't. I know you won't. Be there. Do you feel like a memory, something that I've never known? Somebody who could take me there, then leave me all alone. And you say you will, but I know you won't. Yeah, I know you won't. I know you won't. Be there. Be there. Be there. Be there. All right. Got a much more rockin' version. It's coming out in about 20 minutes. So check out Patreon and if you're interested in that. All right. Where does that leave us? Let's do a tune here. We'll do one of the song about back when I was living in Bolivar, in Crystal Beach, Texas, and that's always a bad sign.
And they're really close, too.
Yeah. And I was telling somebody, I talked earlier about the second best job I ever had being the Census Bureau, and somebody the other night said, well, what's the best job you ever had? And I thought that was interesting because I thought they would assume it'd be a singer-songwriter, but it's not, actually. This is the third best job. The best job I ever had, it was very short-lived, and it's kind of a tragic story, but I got a job real quick, I'll try and make this quick. There was a bar I used to hang out at on the beach called Bob's Sports Bar and World Famous Grill, and I used to go in there all the time, and Crystal Beach was it had this beach, and people would come down at spring break in the summer, and it would just be a madhouse. and people would line up on the beach and just do all kinds of crazy stuff. And this fella came in one day, and he was an artist, and his name was Rembrandt. And you got to understand, Crystal Beach was the kind of place, like, there was a guy named Barefoot, and he had his name legally changed to Barefoot because he didn't wear shoes. And I thought, wow, that's crazy. And I looked in the phone book, and there were 12 other guys named Barefoot. So that's Crystal Beach in a nutshell, right? And so Rembrandt came in, and Rembrandt was a little sketchy, and he came up, and we got to talking, and he said, I want to hire you to work for me. I said, okay, well, I could use some work. What do you do? And he says, I'm a body painter. I said, okay, I'm intrigued. And he said, I go down on the beach during the summer, and people give me money, and I paint their bodies. I said, that sounds awesome. The only problem is I have no sort of artistic ability in that area. And he says, it doesn't matter. You're going to be the handprint man. I said, well, what does that mean? And he said, girls don't like me. And so I have a hard time getting them to come over, but what they do like is to have handprints. You're going to dip your hands in a bucket of paint, and you're going to apply them to naked breasts. That's the job. That's the gig. I said, this can't be really happening right now. and he said, you'll get $5 per customer. I said, this is the dream come true. I was 21 years old. I had not been on a date in a while, and the idea that people were going to pay me to do this was incredible. And so he said, show up tomorrow morning, and we'll get to work. We'll head out to the beach and get to work. And I went home. I had the sweetest dreams I've ever had. I came back to the bar the next day, and Rembrandt had been arrested that morning for public indecency. And I never got one customer. So anyway, so I became a musician, and that's
it's good to have something to fall back on.
Yeah, you know. When the dream doesn't work out, it's good to have that. The shooting stars and whiskey bottles are all scattered across the yard. I'd have stayed back home in Houston if I'd known it'd be this hard. Oh, but as it is, I'm busted. I'm broke down across the bay, and I might not make December, and we keep carrying on this way. Our pretty girls in deep depressions and keep falling from the sky. I got all the time in heaven, but no sense to wonder why. And the nights have all gone crazy, and the bars have all shut down. One day I swear I'll blow it all back up and leave this town. And sometimes I get so tired of telling right from wrong. Hey, I'm glad I came, just wish I hadn't stayed so long. Now here I am in Music City, lost hearts and neon signs, and I can't seem to remember what I came so far to find. Police cars and paper money, motel rooms and cigarettes. Yeah, to tell you, you ain't nothing, just in case you might forget. And I can hear that country music from the window up above. Do they do it for the money? Do they do it for the love? And bourbon eyes and stolen pistols seems all that comes my way. I'm gonna burn down all my bridges, grab a car and drive away. And sometimes I can't believe I did all that for a song. Hey, I'm glad I came, just wish I hadn't stayed so long. could make Louisiana in 2 hours' time, and we could pull off of the highway by the big casino sign, and we could pack up all our wishes and then bet them all on black. Hit the lights of Mississippi with south wind at our backs. And it's always been the same down every road I've come. Yeah, I'm glad I came, just wish I had stayed so long. All right, thank you, everybody. Well, that's like I said, it's Towns' Van Zant's birthday today, and so we'll do a song here. It's been a while, so let me think of what to do. I don't know. Have we ever played any Towns together? We have? What'd we play? All right. How about we'll try this here. If I had no place to fall and I needed to, I could have counted on you to lay me down. I'd never tell you no lies. I don't believe it's wise. You got pretty eyes. Won't you spin me round? And time, she's a fast old train. She's here and she's gone, and she won't come again. Won't you take my hand? In the light of day, and we can't go wrong. I ain't much of a lover, it's true. I'm just here and I'm gone, and I'm forever blue. But I'm sure wanting you. If I had no place to fall and I needed to, I could have counted on you to lay me down. 62% of the song, man. I'll double down, see if I try another one that I probably forgot. Oh, Loretta, she's my ballroom girl, and wears them sevens on her sleeve, and dances like a diamond shines, and tells me lies I love to believe. Her age is always 22, her laughing eyes are hazel hue, spends my money like waterfalls, and loves me like I want her to. Oh, Loretta, won't you say to me, darling, throw your guitar on and take another shot of booze and play a blue and wailing song. My guitar rings a melody, my guitar sings Loretta's fine, long and lazy, blonde and free. I can have her anytime. The sweetest at the break of day, the prettiest in the setting sun. She don't cry when I don't stay, at least not till she's all alone. Loretta, I won't be gone long. Keep your dancing slippers on, keep me on your mind a while. I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Oh, Loretta, she's my ballroom girl, wears them sevens on her sleeve, and dances like a diamond shines, and tells me lies I love to believe. Her age is always 22, her laughing eyes are hazel hue. I spend my money like waterfalls, and loves me like loves me like I want her to. All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for listening to us. One more time for our host and MC, Kevin Connor.
How about Jack Ingram?
How about Jack Ingram, everybody? What a treat.
Guest.
Jeff Queen back here on the pedal steel. Mike Meadows. The Saxon Pub, the #1 listening room in Austin. Congrats to y'all, and thank you everybody for coming out. This is the 3rd month we've gotten to do this, and I do not take it for granted. Like I said, it was not always this many people in the audience, and I really appreciate y'all being here. Thanks to everybody watching at home for free. I should mention that to y'all. Y'all had a totally different experience here for that.
This is way better, right? Yeah.
Well, I said Highway 87, that's one dangerous place to be. When you're pissed off all the local boys and your back's against the sea, and the cops all know your number and the bars all know your name. After 6 straight months of drinking, boy, you're never gonna be the same. And I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't remember when. I may not know where I'm going, but I sure know where I've been. Oh yeah, that sheriff, he just watches every move I make. And one of these days he's gonna arrest me for all the time I take. And the local girls all act like I just ain't their kind, painting on their precious nails, losing their sweet minds. And I'd give half of Texas if I could find a friend. I may not know where I'm going, but I sure know where I've been. Well, that coast is disappearing as they line up on the beach, and they're doing all them little things Sunday school don't teach. There's Jim Beam by the fire and cocaine in the stash, a baseball bat on the floorboard, shotgun on the dash. And you might lose your mind, go walking around the pen. You may not know where you're going, but you sure know where you've been. Well, I said Highway 87, that's one dangerous place to be. When you're pissed off all the local boys and your back's against the sea, and the cops all know your number and the bars all know your name. After 6 straight months of drinking, boy, you're never gonna be the same. And I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't remember when. I may not know where I'm going, but I sure know where I've been. Everybody, thank y'all so much for coming out tonight. I hope you had a good time. We'll see you next month.
Thank you, everybody.
This has been episode 3 of Enough Rope with Hayes Carll. Thank y'all.
Just hasn't happened yet, and I've been on a losing streak. And I'm trying to forget. You act like we were meant to be,
like country songs in Tennessee. Baby, I need to believe, 'cause I want you so bad. You say you will. I know you won't. I know you won't. I know you won't. Be there. You got leaving in your eyes. Oh, and I don't wanna see it. It'll turn your promise into lies, no matter how you try to keep it. And now I'm standing at the edge of town, the bell heavy as the sun goes down. So tired of going round and round, I wanna take you at your word.